Hey everybody, it's David Nemeth. I'm the writer and director of the film Role Model, and I'm here today to break down another scene for you. One of my favorite scenes in the film, just due to the technical aspects of shooting it. So I hope you gain some helpful tips and tricks on how to make your production more efficient and better, and just enjoy the film that we were able to make and have a lot of fun making it. So this particular scene, I'm not sure what to call it because scene numbers for me after a while started to blend together, mesh together, and I just lost count. So I don't remember what to call this particular scene, but I do love this scene. As always, if you want to see more from us, hit that like and subscribe button so that we can get more content to you as soon as possible. So let's get right into it with this particular scene. Scene number this. I don't even know what number this scene is, but you know what? We're just going to get started. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so this particular scene here is just really cool. I'm going to highlight some of the technical aspects that went into behind the scenes of filming it that while watching it, you might not understand happened, but are pretty cool and would really help you, if you're a filmmaker, help you to make your productions a lot more efficient and just get a lot more done within a small amount of time. We did this entire feature film in 10 days, and so this scene is one of the reasons that we were able to do that. We did a lot of these kind of techniques throughout the whole film to help boost things and move things along without wasting too much time. So let's dive in. There's a couple things I want to show you right off the bat here. There's a lot of fun things going on in this scene. One is just the production design. Now our production design team came in and staged this house. This house was completely empty, so they put in this couch, these flowers, this painting, and they did all that staging and making it look nice, look pretty, and appealing for the camera. There's one thing, though, that they did not account for that we didn't either, and that's just really cool. So we have these flowers here, right? You can see those, and we have this painting here in the background. Well, if you'll notice, those colors match, and that's because of our production design team, our staging team. They did a fantastic job, made it happen. There's one thing we did not plan, however. We needed a laptop for our main actress to use, and so I believe this is her laptop, Christina's laptop. And if you'll notice, the color scheme on here closely matches with everything else that's happening. And there's even a little bit of yellow and gold in the screen, on the back of the laptop that matches her clothes here. And I would love to say that I did that on purpose. I did not. The rest of it was on purpose, and the colors of her clothes were more or less on purpose, but that laptop was not. We pulled it out, we opened it up, and we said, oh my goodness, whoever's case this is matches our scene perfectly. And it was just a nice little happy little accident that we can claim as, yeah, that's 100% production design, even though 100% it wasn't. So let's get started here.
I hate this. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. Thanks.
So I want you to notice one thing here, just really quick before we move on. Notice this shot here, okay? I want you to notice that because it'll be very important later on for how we set this up and how we were able to use this shot. So just notice the setup of this shot. We're gonna keep moving forward.
I just don't think that a hiring manager would be proud of me like you would.
No, but you care that I am, don't you?
It helps.
And confidence is key when you go to interview. This what'll set you apart from the rest, trust me. Most managers can smell confidence before you even walk into the room.
So if you'll notice, we just tracked with her all the way into the kitchen. So the camera, that same shot, that same setup, all it did was pan and tilt a little bit and rack focus to keep her in focus as we follow her into the kitchen, okay? So one shot, and now we have two shots with one setup and one take. Two shots with one setup and one take. Let's keep going.
I don't want to do this.
But you can. Trust me. All it takes.
So here we are back on that shot. So far we have two setups. We have that initial setup that panned and tracked and followed our actress Phoebe, who's phenomenal by the way, but followed actress Phoebe into the kitchen. And then we have the other setup shot for Christina's character, that close-up shot that we just saw. And so we're in here again with this kitchen. And again, you can see a few things here that add depth to this shot. that really helps sell it. The blinds, we were able to just open them. The sun was in a perfect spot today, and it just streamed through, so we added some nice texture to the wall there. But then there's, of course, that the kitchen is nicely lit, but you've got a lot in the foreground here, and then you have a lot in the background, and then you have that blind open to add some nice depth into this shot. So all this in one shot, one setup. So far, let's keep track. We have 2 setups, okay, but 3 shots. All right, here we go. And I don't know if I can do this. Hang on, let me see if I can do this. 2 setups and 3 shots. All right, let's keep going.
Is a belief that you're more capable than anyone else.
Is that all?
Of course. I don't care if you haven't done much of the work, just that you believe wholeheartedly you can and will work hard to do it.
All right, here we go. We have the same shot. Okay, this is technically, I mean, it's technically the same shot, but it's more of a mid instead of a wide, because I mean, you'll see here we're here instead of we're on the legs, so more of a cowboy shot really, just below the hips and just above the head of Christina and Phoebe, but we're still on that same shot, same take too.
Hey, honey. Hey, honey.
Okay, so here's an interesting part. We called cut, but we didn't move our camera. So this is technically not a new setup. All we did was pan the camera around and adjust lighting just a little bit, but it's not real. I don't think we had to adjust any lighting. I think all we had to do was we set up the lighting and we just panned the camera around. So this isn't even another setup, but it is an entirely other shot. This is a new shot. So here we have 2 setups with 4 shots. We're still rolling. There we go. That's a new shot. She's come forward because of her blocking. She's come forward to add some more interest into this shot. This I would qualify as a new shot. Okay, this is another shot. And again, we haven't moved the camera. It's in the same setup. We've panned, we've tilted a little bit, but same setup, no lighting adjustments, no camera adjustments. We can keep the camera rolling and just move and add that blocking to add that interest and that difference in depth. Well, I could have had her stay on the couch. I could have had her just stay there as she drank. But of course, that doesn't feel natural, and that doesn't add more interest into the shot, into what's going on. This keeps the interest going, keeps the engagement going, but we didn't have to cut. We didn't have to use any new setups. We could keep the camera rolling and keep that take going to get a new shot just from blocking. We put some cuts in between to kind of mask it so that we didn't have one long master take, but it's still the same setup. All right, let's keep rolling.
How are we holding up?
Difficult to say.
This one is a new shot and a new setup, okay? So we did have a nice 2 shot here. This is what we were talking about in our other video, if you've seen it, about how we had some a decent shot of both Chandler and Christina, and that was kind of like it wasn't really a good 2 shot. You could see both of them in the frame, but it wasn't a 2 shot. This one is a nice flat 2 shot where you can see both of them perfectly in the frame. There still is a little bit of depth with the blinds behind them, but it's a lot more of a flat 2 shot. Great color scheme, great. I love what's going on here with the production design and the costumes. We've got these beautifully colored bags. He's got this baby blue shirt on. She's got this one that kind of coordinates with him. And man, I love the colors in this shot. Really pops. I love the pastels that are going on in here, and it makes for a really pretty looking shot.
What's in the bags?
This is probably my favorite part of this. So it's hard to tell, but this is the same setup that we had earlier with them on the couch. So this is a new shot because we've got a close-up on her. A new shot, but no new setup. Okay, it's the same take too, is what's crazy. So she was on the couch. The camera moved to follow Phoebe into the kitchen, back into the living room, holds on Christina as she stands up, moves, blocking into a different shot. Then she blocks and moves over here against this frame where she can just hang out and stand, and now she's in a close-up with this wonderful little wall that she can lean against. We've got a plant off to the side, which is another story altogether, because I just have a love-hate relationship with that plant. And if you'll watch the movie carefully, it moves. But this shot was created with the same setup and the same take. We did not cut between those takes. So the actors and the talent acted out this whole scene as if it were a play. And they just kept going, we just kept rolling, and we moved around and added that blocking as added interest, just so that we could get different shots, varying shots, but without moving the camera. Now, of course, this is also due to our DP Josh Harbin, just an incredible job. Both he and I were on set and we were looking at it and we had all these shots in mind. We had, right now we're tracking with 7 shots. We had these 7 shots in mind and we were trying to figure out how to set up the camera for each one. And both of us kind of looked at each other after we were like, we need this shot, we need this shot, we need this shot. We both looked at each other and we said, hey, can we get this all in one shot without moving the camera? If we put the camera right here because of the open floor plan of the house, we could technically get everything in one shot. And so we tried that and we were able to just by adjusting the blocking so that they could come in and out of these frames, add some interest in the shot, give us a wide shot, a medium shot or a cowboy shot, then a mid shot, and then a close-up shot, all without moving the camera, without moving the setup, without cutting, keeping it all in one take, added some incredible efficiency to our team. What would take an entire day to shoot those shots only took us like an afternoon. Like it wasn't that long because we were able to fit it all into one shot and into one take.
As soon as I heard about our little god baby,
Your god baby?
I had to make sure the peanut.
I just love this 2-shot. Our DP stands by this one too. He loves this shot. This is probably one of his favorite in the film. But the colors, the 2-shot, I mean, it all just works. There is some depth in the background, there's not a lot of depth like we tried to do with the rest of the film. There's not as much going on, but there's so much going on here and there's so much going on here that it's not really necessary. And it's just a beautiful shot. I love the colors. I love everything about this shot.
Was taken care of. There's everything in.
See, I really enjoy this wall being here and giving her something to act against, because that's really helpful for actors and talent, is to have something to act with, people to act with in a scene, but also something to interact with. So I gave them things like, okay, go get the water, bring it back, drink some water out of a mug, but then even giving Christina something to lean against, something to imply something a little bit more than what's going on. She's kind of closing herself off. If you really notice in the scene, she's really closing herself off both to Martin and to Amaya, played by Princeton and Phoebe, who are both just phenomenal to work with. All these people are just incredible to work with, but she's kind of closing herself off in this scene with this wall, and you can really feel that. It adds that depth, but it also gives Christina just something to play with, something to interact with, and something to play off of that can give some added interest into the scene and add some more that's going on. Some more wonderful depth that's going on in the scene.
Clothes, wipes, gift cards for diapers, formula, everything you need to get started.
There we go. There's another one. So we finally had to get a new setup and a new shot. Okay, we've got a new shot and a new setup here because we really wanted to highlight Princeton's character, Martin. We really wanted to highlight the disconnect that's happening between him and Christina's character, Cheryl. And so we needed that close-up here. And, poor Amaya, poor Phoebe kind of gets cut out and relegated. She doesn't get her close-up in this scene, but that's for a specific reason. And if you watch this film and you watch the scene, I hope you get it, because there's so much subtext going on in the scene, and it's wonderfully acted, beautifully done, but there's so much subtext going on, and I really wanted to highlight that with these close-ups between Princeton and Christina, so we did have to get an additional setup and an additional shot here. I don't think we had to change too much lighting. We had to do a little bit of lighting just to add some, but I mean, you can see this wonderful practical lighting from these lights that's just shining off of him here, and then you have your key light that's shining up here. Beautiful lighting that's going on, and it's just, it's wonderful. I love this scene.
I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything. Just had to make sure our little god baby was taken care of, didn't we?
Thank you both.
It was all her idea.
Of course it was. You think he would have done all this? Now, come on, let me show you what you got. Yeah, this one first.
I really didn't have to do this.
All right, there's our last one. So we have another setup here and another shot. We might have even been able, I don't remember, but we might have even been able to move the camera that was on Princeton's close-up and just pan it and tilt it a little bit so we could get Christina's close-up here. But I think we did have to change a little bit. So this is a new setup and a new shot. But if you look at our tally over here, usually you have one shot per one setup, okay? And sometimes you might get a little bit more out of that, 2 shots, with one setup. But I mean, look at the disparity between these two here. We've got quite a disparity. We've got 5 setups and 9 shots that we were able to get with only 5 setups. And some of those setups were just used for a quick cutaway, one quick little close up, one shot that we could grab just so we could add that interest into the scene and add those cutaways to kind of mask what was going on. And there's that last little bit of nuance that was in her shot, and that's the end of the scene. But I love how we were able to efficiently use our camera setups and our time. Our assistant director, Natalie Pace, was of course thrilled that we were able to efficiently use our camera setups and time, but it allowed us a lot more than just being able to accomplish more shots in a shorter period of time. It also enabled us to retake this shot several times so that we could get what we wanted. Because we were so efficient, we were able to really take our time with these shots and hone in on these characters, hone in on the reactions, and really get what we were needing out of these scenes. And we did these techniques in several other places in the film as well. Just not quite as noticeable or as well done here, I think. This is probably our biggest achievement for these techniques in the film, although we did use them in several other places. And if you're watching, you'll catch them because we use the same setup, or sometimes we would take a handheld shot and we would use the same shot. We would keep rolling while he would be able to move around freely because it's handheld, and to create that efficiency in those scenes and have our actors act out the entire scene from beginning to end to really feel that emotion, and we can really feel it with them. I think it comes through in the final product, and I love being able to use this technique. It's one of my go-to techniques. So that's all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you got a lot out of it. As always, hit that like and subscribe button so that you can see more of this as it comes out, and hopefully see more of our film. And I really do hope you are able to check out this film when it inevitably comes to you. And thank you so much for watching. Join us next time when hopefully I will break down another scene, and we'll see you soon.
This isn't real! You're not my father! You never were! Have you ever cared about me?
Oh,